everyone, welcome to the podcast. We are joined by Carine today. We are so lucky to have her here again. This is the second time we've had Carine on. The first episode you were on, Carine, is one of our most listened to episodes. People ask about you a lot, so we're so
Wow,
excited
thank you.
so excited to have you back. So Carine founded and leads the multidisciplinary eating disorder team at American Centre for Psychiatry and Neurology in Dubai, where you practice CBTE, yet within a multidisciplinary function.
Yes, absolutely.
And Kareem was actually mine and Sophia's psychologist, supported us through our own recovery. So honestly, we are just indebted to you, to be honest. Like you've changed both of our lives and just supported us through like such hard work. And we even met through Kareen as well. So like Sophia and I wouldn't know each other. We would not be where we are at all in our lives now. So Kareen, you just do phenomenal work, like absolutely life-changing work. We love you so much and we're so happy to have you back.
Oh, thank you. Thank you, Meg. Thank you, Safia, for having me. And thank you for your words. Really, both of you put so much work into your treatments and your recovery. So really, all the credit goes to you. Really, you've been, so persistent. You've been unbelievable. And it paid back, as it always does.
Mm. Thank you, Kareem.
And thank you for having me. I'm very happy to be here. Thank you for thinking of me again. And I look forward to this discussion. And thank you for all the wonderful work you do for the community, for patients. It's so important. And I'm very grateful. Thank you.
Thank you, Carine. Come every week. We adore you. So, Carine, to get started, a question that we wanted to ask, which obviously both of us had to ask at some point during our recovery journey, and I think is a good place to start because when you're going through an eating disorder, sometimes it feels like you don't know what you're aiming for with a recovered life. So, how do you know when you're working with someone that they have actually recovered? What does that look like for them?
So it's a good question because it's frequently asked by patients. Some of them, and I guess both of you also at one point. Is it only the weight? So I am weight recovered and I don't have features of starvation. Am I recovered? It is the prerequisite, obviously, but it's not enough. It's not only about the weight, right? It's about the mindset. It's about not having, your body at the center of your self-evaluation. It's about having a life outside of your body and your weight and your shape. But it's not only about the mindset either. So I also have patients who are not weight restored fully but that feel much better already, thanks to regular eating, a bit of weight restoration, a bit of food in the system, and things have started to shift. They feel better and they come to me and they tell me, I'm better. Why do I need to regain more weight? So it's not about needing to regain more weight, but if you are below your biologically appropriate weight, or your set weight, you cannot be recovered because it means you are still maintaining restrictive behaviors in order to maintain this low weight. So really, it is a combination of many things. Definitely, there is the health prerequisite. So you cannot be recovered if you are underweight as per your genetic set weight, if you have features of starvation, if you are not healthy, hormonally, from a physical perspective. But also, it's not enough. You also need to have the mindset where you no longer, and I repeat this, evaluate yourself based on how you are, how well you are controlling your body weight and shape, and you have a big life. You have a big life. You have headspace to focus on life, on other things, and you start to create a life worth living, a life that has meaning beyond your body weight and shape. I mean, to a certain extent, we all want to be healthy, and we want to, it's okay to think about food and your weight flexibly, but it doesn't impair or affect your life on daily basis. It doesn't run your mood and your life. It's just a small part of something you might think about when needed.
Mm.
So I think it's a combination of all of these factors. But in the process, and I'm sure you can remember, you question. Am I recovered? What is recovery? But then when you are recovered, you know,
That's
both
true.
of you knew.
Yeah.
That's
You know,
true.
and I remember once Matt told me, I am unlocked. I feel it. I'm unlocked. I can think of other things. You know, I'm free. I can socialize around food. I feel good physically, mentally, and I'm looking forward to other things in my life. So, you know, when you know, you know.
Yeah, I definitely
You
felt it in my
agree?
100%, and I felt it in my brain, like the not
Yes,
being
yes. I remember you
not
said that.
thinking about food, being preoccupied, thinking about time, or it just like kind of went, and then yeah, interested in other things. Is there something you see in people that's like a prerequisite that will enable them to recover, like a certain mindset or certain support they've got in place, that kind of thing? Like, what is it to get somebody recovered?
So I don't like to use the word prerequisite because I like to open recovery to anyone and everyone with any type of personalities. But yes, to be honest, the mindset that you see typically in eating disorders, the very determined, persistent, obsessive mindset, very detail oriented, this is the mindset that made you, you know, get ill or, you know, develop an eating disorder in the same place where all your life starts revolving around the pursuit of your objective of losing weight, of changing your body. It's the exact same mindset, the same persistence, the same determination, the same obsessiveness that you then, through the process of therapy and incentives that are important enough, you shift to recovery. So you start to invest the same energy, the same dedication, the same persistence again in recovery. And this is why at the beginning, recovery has to be at the center of your life. It has to be your priority. It has to be the first thing you think of when you wake up in the morning and the last thing you think of. Exactly like when you had the eating disorder and all your life was around achieving these goals, those weight and food goals. Now we're shifting this. So it's the same mindset, the same personality traits. So I always tell my patients, I don't want you to change. I want you to use exactly the amount of hard work and the traits you use in the pursuit of your eating disorder and to put them in the pursuit of recovery. And why does this shift happen? Is because through the process of therapy, they should get to realize that this pursuit and all this hard work and this effort is bound to fail. What is successful anorexia nervosa? It's death. This is successful anorexia nervosa. If you succeed, what's the outcome? You know, there's not many outcomes, especially when we think about restrictive eating disorders. So this pursuit is bound to fail. So we're going to put the same amount of energy, the same amount of work into pursuing goals that are not bound to fail.
It's a bit
which
of
is
like,
a big life.
yeah, it's like the split of the short term and long term payoff, though, isn't it? Because, like, in the short term, in the moment, the eating disorder feels like, oh, I feel better doing this. But then in the long term, it's not delivering for you, not giving you
Yes, and
anything.
and this is something also that that individuals with eating disorders don't realize, right? And this is why therapy again, because this is when you realize, okay, you know, we know that people with eating disorders are very intolerant to frustration. They cannot tolerate any negative emotion. So they want to feel better quickly on the spot. They want a quick fix, whether it is restricting or binge eating. Okay, both work in terms of a short-term comfort. It makes you feel numb. You don't think. You feel good. Okay, after binge eating, you feel bad, but in the moment, it relieves you. It releases you. But these short-term fixes don't work long-term. Okay. The problem is that when you are in the moment, you forget the long-term consequences. You are now, I want to feel better. I don't care. I don't even think about it. You get a bit dissociated. You know, you're not really connected to your environment. So the process of therapy is to making you realize that these short-term fixes, for sure, they work, but they are dysfunctional, they are harmful, and they will pull you away from your long-term goals. Yeah. So in order to reach long-term comfort, you need to tolerate short-term discomfort. And this is something that we need to remind ourselves of And this is why in CBTE, self-recording, real-time self-monitoring, writing real-time your thoughts is so important, because in the moment you will forget, even if you spend hours and hours in therapy, thinking and discussing it, in the moment you will forget. So you need to write, to capture your thought and to remind yourself, okay, I'm going to feel better now, but what will happen long term? I won't be able to have children. I won't be able to go to university. I'm going to live with this all my life. So I'm going to tolerate, have the meal, feel bloated, or go distract if, for example, you have urges to binge eat, because I know that there's something better waiting for me.
Wow, that's so powerful. Like exactly that. And so is there anything that's really helped people tolerate that discomfort? Because that is so hard. That's something Meg and I remember really struggling with, is tolerating the discomfort. You mentioned distractions, you mentioned kind of linking to like where you want to be long term. Is there anything that you found has really helped your clients with tolerating that discomfort in the moment?
Experiencing the discomfort passing, knowing that the urge will pass, and
Yeah.
knowing that you are strong enough to survive it.
Yes.
Our patients think that they're going to die, that they're not going to be able to tolerate it, that it's going to keep getting worse. But the urge passes. It has a lifespan. It has a beginning and it has an end. And when you start experiencing it ending, and when you start seeing that, at the end of the day, nothing horrible happened. Okay, it was uncomfortable, but it passed. I survived it. Then it gives you self-efficacy. And you know that in the future, when there will be discomfort, you'll be able to survive it, to tolerate it. You build resilience. But there is no quick fix or magic wand or anything to make it go away. You just really, okay, distractions, all of this, they are functional coping mechanisms. They can help, but they're not as effective as not eating, starving yourself the whole day, or binging in terms of modulating your mood, right? It's not as effective. It can help, but it's not as effective. So the bottom line is to accept, to tolerate the discomfort, and to build resilience to it. And once you've done this repeatedly, then you're less scared of discomfort. And also in life, it equips you.
Yes.
I mean, you have kids
Exactly.
now. It's a different type of discomfort and frustration.
We literally speak about that, Carine. We feel like recovery taught us that. Like, of course, life isn't perfect now. Of course, we get anxiety,
no, of course.
but we've learned that, like, no, we can accept, we can deal with hard emotions. Emotions are meant to be hard sometimes, but we can manage them. They will pass. Things will calm down. We have dealt like healthier coping strategies to deal with those things. So completely agree.
So it's so true. Thank you for saying that. So it really equips you for life, because at the end of the day, it's a broader problem than just an eating disorder. This intolerance to frustration is something we see in addictions, in many other presentations. So also we don't want the eating disorder to resolve. I mean, someone gains weight and thinks a bit less about food, and then still is intolerant to frustration, and then resorts to other dysfunctional coping mechanisms, such as self-harm or addictions or substances. So it's a skill. It's a skill, and it takes time. It takes time. I mean, it's still, I guess all of us, we're still practicing, right? And some moments it's harder, some moments it's easier, but at least we know that we can do it.
Yes, absolutely.
It's hard in eating disorder recovery, that's a bit in at the deep end, because it's discomfort doesn't even really describe it. Like when you want to like rip your skin off, you know, it feels like proof that the eating disorder's right, because you're like, well, if it feels this bad, then it must be, you know, it feels like a fact. Like if I feel like this, then what I'm doing must be really terrible.
Yes, and it's because it's so strong, because usually you have not in the past experienced surviving frustration. So all your life, even if it was not an eating disorder, you were, abiding or using quick fixes. So you get to the point where the discomfort is really, by all means, extremely, high, whether it is physically, right? The physical sensations, the bloating, the cramps, the constipation, the huge, horrible feelings of fatness, the anxiety, the self-disgust that you might have. So, and suddenly you have to deal with these huge emotions, huge uncomfortable emotions, when you're not equipped and you've never in your life really experienced surviving them, or you've always gone to quick fixes. So it's not easy. That's why, in recovery is very painful. It gets worse before it gets better. And this is the tough part, because therapy is supposed to make you feel better, right? When you go for depression or anxiety, you go and quickly you learn tools, you talk, you understand, you should feel, better, not quickly, but it's more of a straightforward process. Whereas with eating disorder therapy, patients will feel worse before feeling better. And this is counterintuitive. And this is where we lose patients who cannot tolerate that and who don't believe in therapy then, because if I'm feeling worse now, why would I stay? I'm here to feel better. But you can relate to that, no?
Definitely.
Yes.
How many meltdowns have you had?
Oh.
I don't want this anymore. Finish. I'm done. This is not how recovery is supposed to look like. It's supposed to feel better.
I think it's hard to believe how bad it feels. And then when it does feel that bad, it does just feel like, oh, see, that's proof that I shouldn't do it. I felt better before I did this thing. Now I've done this thing, like this recovery thing, and I feel worse. But genuinely, it does. But you can tolerate it. Like, I can't believe the physical, emotional, whatever discomfort that I got through, and then it's gone. Like it's like a short term, you have to take the hit to not have to experience it in the future related to like food and body.
Yes, and it's discomfort at all levels. Let's say you have an addiction to exercise, having to stop for 1 month exercise. How difficult it is, right? Every morning waking up and having this urge to go and put your sneakers and walk and just having to sit. So it's not only physical. The discomfort is emotional, it's psychological. It's really like everything is screaming for you to do, what you want to do, but then you have to resist it. But therapy gives you tools, and I think again, I go back to the real-time self-monitoring, your incentives, support. Very important. It helps, but at the end, you have to do the work.
You have to do the work yourself. Carine, that's making me think. Is any quick fix bad? Because I'm just thinking, I'm reflecting myself before my eating disorder developed even. Is a quick fix bad if you're reaching out to somebody? If you're always reaching out to a certain person to make you feel better and to bring down your mood, is that also negative, or can reaching out always be a positive coping mechanism?
Nothing can always be positive, because everything can be excessive, extreme, and exclusive, and then addictive. So even the healthiest behavior and support and reaching out for support is for sure the healthiest coping mechanism we can have. And now all studies on happiness and longevity say that the proof showed that the single most important predictor of happiness and longevity and health is having a community and having access to support. However, when you're addicted, and this is very OCD-like behavior, when you're constantly seeking reassurance, especially from the same person, then it's not healthy. This is quick fix, but a quick fix that is going to, just like all urges, when you abide by them, when you surrender to the urge, you feel better short term, but then the anxiety gets worse. And then you need to keep going to this person or someone else, let's say, and to keep asking for reassurance. And I have now in mind people who gain weight, individuals who have to regain weight during recovery, and that keep going and asking, do I look fat? Does it show? How is my genes? So these are all reassurance-seeking behaviors that we see in OCD behaviors. So it's very similar. And the more you ask, the more your anxiety in time increases. So we teach parents not to respond to their teenagers, and we teach significant others also not to engage in that. But reaching for support when you feel you want to go binge eat, and calling your friend for distraction, this is fantastic. This is the best coping mechanism. When you feel low and lonely and alone, and food is your only comfort, going to visiting a friend, or seeing anyone, calling anyone, Zooming anyone is definitely amongst the strongest and most effective coping mechanisms. I don't know if I answered your question.
You answered it fantastically well, really helpful, because, and like you said, anything that is potentially could be helpful could be harmful if used in the wrong way. So that's really helpful to see that distinction. Yeah, really helpful. Thank you.
And when people are going through recovery, Carine, and they experience things like extreme hunger, fatigue, how do you help people cope with that? That like the discomfort of that kind of thing, knowing it's not going to last forever. How do you help people get through those experiences?
I mean, in my experience, if someone is engaged in the process of recovery, has established regular eating, which in itself, even before weight gain, improves significantly the features of starvation, because it tricks your body into thinking you're out of starvation. You have this small amount of food that are getting to your system. They feel better quickly. Really, food is medicine. really, food is medicine. And in patients who have an addiction to exercise, also stopping exercise. So before we were more in the mindset. I mean, again, it's case by case, and I don't like to generalize, but before we used to go to the total abstinence, no more exercise. Now, depending on the medical situation, the level of fatigue, the hormonal situation, some mild exercise can stay, but can remain. But mainly, if you stop excessive exercise, and even if you don't eat significantly more, but more regularly, you are going to feel better. And even your vital signs improve, all your medical variables improve. It's magical. So I also like to reassure my patients, because there's also a lot of myth around, the fatigue, you're going to carry it forever. Yes, if you don't eat regularly, and if you keep exercising, and if you keep starving your body, even if you go to therapy until you die, you're not going to feel better. The fatigue and the hunger will persist, because I don't have this power. What I can do is get you to accept and to understand the importance of feeding yourself, and stopping exercise.
Yeah, I absolutely remember that, working on the regularity, adequacy, and you being like, it will be quick, you'll feel better. Physically, you will just feel better very shortly.
Yeah, it's important to give a message of hope. We said recovery can be long. It's not straightforward, and you must expect to feel worse before you feel better. But you also feel better from a physical perspective quite fast. So you'll have some discomfort when it comes to the gastric issues, like the pain of bloating, cramping. But from energy, sleep, brain fog, concentration, quickly you feel better. Really. And it's important to also highlight that you also feel some quick physiological benefits to starting regular eating and decreasing your level of physical activity.
Absolutely.
We'll be back to the episode in about 30 seconds, but first we want to invite you to our Rewired in Action community. If this podcast helps, but you'd like more support, practical tools, and answers to your questions from us, we'd really love for you to join.
We created this community because we kept hearing from listeners that it's so hard to hold on to motivation. Even when you really want to recover and you're sick of living in Groundhog Day, it's so hard to make that change in the moment. We know exactly what that feels like, and that's why we made this community for you. The one we wish we had in our own recovery, to help you break the eating disorder cycles that are keeping you stuck.
We meet twice a week on Sundays and Thursdays at 5 p.m. Dubai time, and all the sessions are recorded so you can catch up if you need to. That means that no matter what your time zone, you can still join, and in fact, lots of our participants rewatch the sessions a few times during their week.
It's anonymous and listen only. We know how important it is to have a safe space without comparison or triggering details. Our members span 5 decades of life at many different stages of recovery, so whatever your age or stage, we'd love to have you.
It's not a replacement for therapy or treatment,
but it is consistent, practical, compassionate support that really helps people make meaningful change in their recovery.
You'll find all the details in the show notes, and we would love to support you.
All right, now back to the episode. Carine, how long have you been working with people with eating disorders now?
Oof, if I tell you, I'm going to appear old. I don't want.
A long
22
time.
Years.
Wow.
22 years.
Wow.
This is my 22nd year. And we launched the eating disorder program in 2016. So it's been 10 years proudly. But before that, I was in this journey.
You're
as
incredible
well.
because it can't be easy always. But over the
No.
no, but over those years, have the types of eating disorders you've seen changed, or is it pretty similar? Even is it male female split? What's going on there?
Unfortunately, the situation is, I think, worse than when I started
Mm.
22 years ago. Now, obviously, society has changed and possibly not for the best.
Mm.
But it is clear that the eating disorders we see now are more complex, more severe, more comorbidities.
Mm.
And the patients come to us later in treatment, though there is more awareness on the subject, so I don't know why. And they are younger, they are much younger. I remember when I started, the youngest was one like was a 12, 11-year-old. Now we see 8, 9-year-old with typical anorexia nervosa. And this started during COVID-19. With COVID, the social isolation and the rise of social media, we've seen young kids, on screens. And again, screens do not cause eating disorders, but they are the trigger. They can be the trigger. And put together with the social isolation and the anxiety that surrounded COVID, we didn't know what was going to happen, right? We didn't know if we're going to live, die. It was it was a scary time.
Mm.
So we saw first, the rates of eating disorders globally have quadrupled during COVID-19, and the ages have unfortunately decreased. So now we see much younger patients. But younger patients, that means that they haven't been unwell for a very long time. So even if they come with spectacular presentations, so extremely low weight, stunted growth, and you have family support, don't forget an 8-year-old has a family behind him that is very involved. It's not like a 16-year-old who's starting to really, push their family away, and parents don't have a lot of leverage on them, and there's this process of adolescence and separation. When you have an 8, 9, 10-year-old very much embedded still in the family,
Mm.
the family is a huge supporter, and we see good results much quicker than with older patients. But you really need to intervene quickly, because if an 8-year-old develops anorexia and they come to treatment at 12, it's already very, very late.
Yeah.
What we see also is atypical presentations now more and more. So if you look at the DSM, it falls under OSFED, other significant eating disorders. So these are eating disorders that don't fit the criteria of the DSM, but that are significant impairing. And the main two ones that we've been seeing more and more, first one is atypical anorexia nervosa. It should not be called atypical because it's much more typical than the typical anorexia nervosa. And I'm referring to anorexia nervosa, but where the patient is not underweight as per BMI, but the patient is underweight as per their own genetic set weight. So they are below their set weight, and they can be in heavier bodies or high weight bodies, and starving to basically maintain this weight that is not underweight as per BMI, or losing weight very quickly and having, it's anorexia. So all the features of starvation, loss of menstruation, morbid fear of weight gain, obsessive pursuit of weight loss, body dysmorphia. I mean, all the symptoms. The problem is that not only they're not identified and diagnosed, but they are, I want to say, triggered by the healthcare system and our society. So you have a patient, I'm a GP, and my patient had a very high BMI and has lost weight. Instead of looking at how and why, I'm going to praise and I'm going to say, well done, that's fantastic, you're doing the right thing. And we're seeing more and more of that. Why? Because now we have the GLP-1 agonists, so Mounjaro, Ozempic, and all of this. So losing weight has become easier. And not only they are praised, but in a lot of time, eating disorders are prescribed by doctors. It's okay, you're only eating this and this. it's fine. If they ask what the patient is eating, in most cases, they're just happy with the weight loss and they're praising, and the patient comes usually with the symptoms. She's losing her hair, or she doesn't have her period anymore. She's tired. She has a brain fog. Doctor doesn't really investigate and just tells her, maybe take some vitamins, some supplements, deal with your stress, and you'll be fine. So this is the so first I feel it's weight stigma. I think is the biggest social injustice out there. It fosters and nurtures and triggers eating disorders, and harm is being done by the very same people who are supposed to heal and to cure. So it's even worse, in my opinion. And they come to us too late in treatment because they've been so happy, from losing the weight, and they've been praised, and the doctor said, "Well done," and the society, their friends, everyone is complimenting them and praising them. So why should they come into treatment? They come too late, and when they come late, the prognosis of eating disorders is really significantly worse. Doesn't mean you cannot recover, but obviously it's worse when you have lived with the problem for a significant amount of time. And then the process of weight regain is so much more complicated than someone who is at a underweight or is underweight as per BMI, because my patient who has a normal BMI or an above a normal BMI, for her, she's not sick enough. Why should she gain weight? Because in her head, she's already at a heavier BMI. So the whole psychological work and psychoeducation around the genetic set weight, the symptoms of starvation is difficult, is tough, and usually doctors are not very supportive of what we're trying to do. So it's very complicated. But they do need to regain weight. And when we don't put it as a treatment target, we just put nourishment. So we're going to go back to eating, a bit more than what you are eating. Obviously, the weight is going to go up. So it's inevitable. When you have features of starvation, you need to regain a bit of weight in order to recover. And it's very, very difficult. And I'm not sick enough. I don't look like someone who has anorexia, right? To have all these stereotypes circulating. So it's very complicated. It's very common.
Yeah, it's such gaslighting, really, isn't it, for the person? Like, it's so invalidating, like the denial or the confusion must be so high for people. So how do you help people with it? Do you still use a CBTE protocol?
Yes, we use a CBTE protocol, which is very much, designed for any type of eating disorder. And this is anorexia. It's not because you're not underweight as per BMI. And in the new DSM, I hope they will remove the weight criteria, because it means nothing. You know that BMI means nothing, right? It's a very simple weight to height ratio that was never meant to measure health and had been completely used wrongly by the medical industry and healthcare. So the difference is the amount of time and energy spent, I'm going to say energy, in psychoeducation, right? Because it is very difficult for them to accept. And you need to spend a lot of time talking about weight stigma with your patients, because you need to acknowledge, right? You need to acknowledge the microaggressions, how life is difficult in our society. And it's so unfair. It's so unjust. I don't know if we say unjust in English, we say it in French. So you need to acknowledge that, yes, they are victims of society, that, yes, life is easier when you are in a smaller body. This is the reality. But we're not asking, they can feel better with a bit of weight. We don't need to gain humongous amounts of weight, contrarily to common belief, to feel better. If they reach their genetic set weight, we're good. This is at the beginning. But then when you reach towards the mid-treatment and the end of the treatment, you need to get to a point where it doesn't matter anymore.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm willing to, face society and with stigma, because otherwise I can't, because first it's wrong, because no one said that big bodies are wrong, and no one said that small bodies are right. There is no right or wrong. We all come in different shapes and forms. We all have different eye colors and different hair colors, and this is reality, and this is the beauty of us. We are all diverse. So there's a lot of work. I mean, I want to say activism, social activism, and advocacy by empowering them to fight back, and to really refuse and not accept society's diktats. So it also goes through this type of discussions in session, when you talk about how it's wrong, how it's unfair, who said that thin is prettier than big? Who said? If you go back in history, it was the opposite, right? If you look at Renaissance, the paintings, women were very wide, very very chubby. They were not muscular at all, because if you were muscular, it meant you were working on the fields, and you were from a lower socioeconomic background. So all these things changes. It wasn't right then, and it's not right now. So even if it changes, there is no time where it's right. The reality is that we are all different, and there is no right or wrong. So it takes time to empower and to educate, and to get to the point where, yes, you know what, I'm fighting back. This is my body, and society is wrong, not me.
Love that. Yeah, because also the changing body trends, if you stuck to body trends, you'd be changing your body all the time. Like
every week, every month. And who said this is a diktat? Who decides? Who decides? And why are we all following like this? And now we have a new trend, which is health. Even health is not a moral value.
Yeah.
Even I go to that extent. Even health is not a moral value. Because first, being in a specific type of body does not mean that you are healthy or unhealthy. I have had the healthiest patients I've treated were in bigger bodies, okay, but they were physically active, and they had good quality food. So it's not automatic. It's not because you are in a big body that automatically you have a metabolic syndrome, or you are ill, or you will develop diabetes. This is not true, okay? And many studies have debunked that. And in anorexia, when you are, I mean, we see the unhealthiest of unhealthiest body types with patients who are severely underweight, or even if they're not underweight as per BMI, they're underweight as per their own genetic set weight. So why is thin healthy and big unhealthy? Who said? You know what I mean? So I think, I think
definitely struggled. I struggled with this a lot, Carine. But I think this health thing is really big at the moment. It's only got more and more. And I think that that's something maybe you're seeing more of, maybe is this like focus on bigorexia and muscle, going to the gym. And I mean, I found it a struggle when I was working with you, with my relationship with movement, and you helped me so much. So are you seeing more of this? Are you seeing more of this kind of unhealthy obsession with it?
So imagine when I was seeing you, it was 10 years ago. So now imagine the trend at your time.
Oh my
It was
God.
easy.
Yeah.
Now it's insane. You cannot open any Instagram page. You cannot open anything on social media without being bombarded with longevity and your muscle mass and the grams of protein and creatine and the supplements and all of this. It's
Meg just learned what creatine was last week.
Saf used the word last week, and I was like, what's that? I've never heard of that before.
And now it's become the best thing for your brain. Who knows, who knows? So the perimenopause also, this is another big hot topic. But there is this now expectation and trend to take all these supplements and to go to the gym specific, how many times a week, and to and to build muscle. There is nothing wrong in wanting to being healthy and strong. I mean, again, it's not a moral value, should not be imposed on people. People need to be educated and make their informed consent. And if someone wants to be strong and healthy, all the best. It's not wrong to want to be strong and healthy. However, it's wrong when it takes over your life and when there's no more place for anything else. And now we're seeing these trends of obsessions around health, and whether it's orthorexia, so eating only pure and clean food, or bigorexia, so really the obsession, especially in males, of building muscle and specific a place of the muscle mass. So you must be big. So you must have a high muscle mass, but you must be shredded and lean. You must have a very low fat percentage. And the legs shouldn't be too big, but the torso should be big. So imagine the amount of time and energy spent counting your macros, deciding and abiding by gym plans, exercise plans, right? You have to do how many times a week, the upper body, the back, the legs. So basically, and the supplements that you have to take. And I'm not even going to go towards the illegal supplements and the steroids that some also take, which have horrible and extremely detrimental and dangerous side effects. But even if you go towards the legal supplements, the ones that everyone is taking, the amount of time spent counting the grams, how much. Plus, you have periods where you have to bulk up, so you have to increase your calorie intake only with protein. Then you have to go to a phase where you have to shred, so you have to decrease your calorie intake. So there's no place for anything else. How can this be healthy?
That's a job. It's a whole job in itself.
It's a life.
It's a whole job in itself. It's a life. You have no more life. You don't have time to think about anything else. You have severe anxiety when you cannot do your workout or you cannot eat the way you're supposed to eat. You turn down social events, obviously, because people eat or sleep late. And you have to sleep early. So you have these whole rules around you that completely dominate your life. So no, this is unhealthy. It's not unhealthy to want to be healthy and strong. It's unhealthy when this becomes an obsession that takes over your life and there's no place for anything else.
Yeah, that's really hard, because I think that's really hard, isn't it, to know when it tips into unhealthy. But I think, like you said, can you be flexible around your movement? Can you join in with social events? Is it taking up more of your life than is required? It should be a small portion of your life if you want it to be.
Exactly. And as you said, also these individuals don't reach us early in their journey, unfortunately, because it's so glorified by society, right? Everyone is envious. This is a proof of discipline. This is a proof of self-control. You're doing exactly what everyone is preaching now. So you must be the superior being. So it's super glorified. It's super praised. So why would you go to treatment, even if you feel anxious, even if you actually are not sleeping, even if you have no social life, even if you have no libido, even if you have no romantic relationship? Why would you go? Everyone's telling you you're doing the right thing. Same with atypical anorexia. Why would you go to treatment where everyone's telling you, great, you're losing weight, that's fantastic? And again, there is no correlation. I mean, first, discipline is not a moral value. Why should discipline be something valued? Who says that disciplined people are better than non-disciplined people? Can't you be disciplined and be a murderer or a thief? And can't you not be disciplined and be a very good person? Plus, who knows that if you are disciplined in one area, it means you are disciplined in other areas? How do you judge someone's discipline? So all these are the background noise of valuing these types of behavior. And I think it goes back to religion, the seven sins and the commandments, but really there's no basis. You can be very disciplined and you can be a serial killer, and you can be not disciplined and be an amazing person. So really, we also spend a lot of time debunking these myths in therapy.
Yeah. Like, what do you actually value? Like, what are the way you're acting in line with what you value?
Your value, not what society says you should value.
Yeah, exactly. What do you value? What do you want your life to be about? What do you want to have spent your life doing? What do you truly value, not just for people's acceptance?
Thank you. You summarized it beautifully.
Yeah. No, that's so important.
Do you get a lot of identity issues tied up with that as well? Because especially with Instagram, social media these days, like you're kind of seen as a thing and you've got a page all about a thing and you're maybe known in a certain way. So I imagine that could be really tied up in it as well, like making a change. You're also kind of really changing your like image out there as well, your digital
You
print.
lose your basically job. You lose your. I mean, if you were
Uh,
to treat, if you had a problematic relationship with exercise and food, and you went to treatment and you had to change certain behaviors and maybe change your body weight, then yes, this. I mean, your identity is this person that is disciplined and that has this specific regimen, and usually they also, which is really, really illegal and wrong and so harmful and dangerous. They even have businesses around that, right? They self-proclaim nutrition coaches or things like that, and they start to give the 40-day transformation, 90-day transformation, and they start to give plans to people, so food plans, exercise plans. So if this person were to undergo recovery or go through recovery, of course she loses everything. They lose everything they have. But even, I mean, again, this also points out to another problem of harm is being done. Harm is being done, unfortunately, and eating disorders are being triggered. So yes, there is more awareness, but society is fostering more and more eating disorders and different types of them.
Yeah.
You agree?
yeah,
Completely.
yeah. Is that what you mean by the complexity as well of how cases are showing up, like the kind of broader in nature?
So it's broader in nature, but also it's so normalized. A lot of the
Right.
behaviors are so normalized by society that it takes a lot of
Yeah.
time to debunk all those myths around them, and typically these behaviors, they don't rarely come for that specific complaint. They come for something else. So you would come for an anxiety, you can't sleep, you feel generalized anxiety all the time, or you're irritable, or you have other symptoms, and in your head they're not linked or related to what you're doing in terms of your exercise and your food. And I teach, because I also lead the psychology team at the ACP, and I teach all the team to make sure to take a very thorough history of the relationship to food and body and what is happening now, because we know that a lot of these symptoms can be just related to the physiology of eating and exercising, and we uncover a lot of hidden in plain sight eating disorders. And again, I want to say something. Not every, going to the gym is healthy. I'm not saying it's unhealthy to go to the gym, and I'm not saying you should eat only fast food. Everyone does what they want, and I respect everyone's choices. I'm here to educate, to give the information, and then to hope my patient or the person that is listening to me makes their own informed decision. But informed means based on science and not based on influencers out there. I believe that exercise and balanced eating, nutritious eating is good for your mood. I believe, and science has proven, right? It has positive effects, as in the mood, the regulation, energy, sleep, longevity, a lot of things. But again, it has to be flexible. It has to be something that does not cause anxiety. It has to be something that is helping you, not harming you.
Also, it's so unique as well, isn't it? Like based on your own personality type, your own brain wiring, your own history. Like what works for one person could be really detrimental to another person, or could be obsessive, whereas the other person can pick it up and drop it and it's not going to impact them. You can't put a blanket statement out there about what's healthy. And if you've had an obsessive relationship with exercise and need to stop, that's the most healthy thing for you, not going to the gym right now. Whereas for somebody else, it might be healthy to go to the gym once a week, twice a week.
Absolutely. And this is so this is on point. Exactly that. Your predisposing traits or your personality will determine what will happen with with the behavior that you pick up. But even if you have an obsessive personality, you can work at having, including in your life behaviors that could be addictive, but you work consciously into keeping them flexible. So we also have a free will. We're not determined only by our genes and our personality. We can decide, we can choose and consciously decide, I'm going to limit this to 3 times a week. I'm going to have weeks where I'm not going to train. When I travel, I won't go to the gym. I'm going to be anyway active. You know what I mean? So it's not, you're not predetermined. It's in certain cases, just like, I don't know if you remember when we were doing the relapse prevention plan. Yes, there are things with individuals who have suffered from restrictive eating disorders. No, they cannot diet. I'm sorry. This is a no-no because again, any food restriction is going to trigger back the mindset and prone to relapse, whether it is intentional or not. So you have to maintain your weight into a certain range. Also, exercise, you need to be very careful is how much, and so there are also individual cases where we need to be very careful, and maybe some behaviors won't be possible because of our history.
So powerful.
You learn it about yourself though, don't you? And it's the same across lots of different things in life. Like some people can pick up a certain hobby or an interest or something they like and do it in moderation. Other people are like, that cannot be for me. I can never touch that, whatever.
Yeah, like I have a friend, she developed an addiction to crochet. Now wherever we are, she's crocheting.
Wow.
So yeah. So really, you can. I mean, anything can be. I don't like to use the word addictive, but yes, can be addictive to a certain extent, depending on your personality. But again, we have free will, and we can decide, I'm only going to crochet between 7 and 8 p.m. 3 times a week. So we're not the slaves of our genes and our personality.
I feel like a lot of recovery and like ongoing recovery is learning how to protect yourself, like learning about yourself. This is me, this is my susceptibilities. Like if I'm going through a period of stress, this is how I need to look after myself. Like if we're very busy, I mean, we have meals delivered every night. We do like meal delivery for dinner. But if we've got a very busy week or period or a moving house or something like that, we'll like make sure food's taken care of. Like I just need that for myself. Like Bren, my husband, probably doesn't as much. He'd be like, oh, it'll be fine.
Flexible, and even if he doesn't eat,
but you learn how to look after yourself a bit, don't you? Based on your own unique, this is me and this is what I need.
And this is a good treatment. A good treatment should, we can't guarantee relapses, obviously the absence of relapses, but a good treatment should work on relapse prevention and really knowing your blueprint and knowing what triggers you and knowing what are the triggers of your eating disorder, DVD or mindset coming back, and learning to nip it in the bud, and also knowing not to put yourself in situations that are triggering.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, you taught that incredibly well.
Yeah.
Thank you. Anyway, you are doing a wonderful job also of motivating people to go down that route of recovery. And it's a message of hope and encouragement. And I think it's very important to have advocates such as yourself, because I can talk all I want about, recovery is worth it, you'll see, but I haven't been there, right? And my patients always take me with a grain of salt. But when you have ex-sufferers who have recovered and are advocates, you have such an important and strong voice.
Thank you, Carine.
Thank you, Carine. So as a final question, Carine, if you could teach everyone one top recovery tool, what would it be?
Spoiler, there is no one top recovery tool.
I was like hanging on. What's it gonna be?
I was waiting for the wand.
You were waiting for the magic wand with the recovery tool.
No,
and this is so common because you have patients who come and they want to pick and choose from therapy. Okay, I'll do the regular eating, but I don't want to work on emotional regulation. Or you know what? Just do the body image for me. I don't want to do the collaborative weighing. I don't want to do the self-monitoring. So that's the problem, not the problem. The reality is that there's no one. there isn't one tool. It is the combination of the therapy in itself and all the different elements that come together that foster recovery. So when you have, eating disorders need specialized therapies, right? And when you have non-specialized therapists who, for example, have learned about the body image module of CBT and they want to do it like this randomly in the middle of their therapy, it doesn't work. It doesn't work. Or you have patients or you have therapists who have understood, thankfully, that anorexic patients underweight need to regain weight. They make them regain weight, but they don't work on the underlying psychopathology. It will not work. It will not work. You need the whole of the treatment and an evidence-based treatment. And please do not pick and choose. It doesn't work. You are wasting your time. If you want to do part of it and you don't want to do part of it, it doesn't work. It doesn't work. What works, the evidence we have and the clinical reality we have is that it works when you do all of it. And again, with flexibility, okay? But it's all of it. There's no one tool. It's really doing the work, doing the hard work of going through every step of recovery, giving it your very, very best, prioritizing it, becoming a monomaniac of recovery, making sure you're doing, being a perfectionist in your recovery, just like you were when you had your eating disorder, and doing everything. There is no shortcuts. There is no, I do this, I don't do this. It is hard work, but it's so worth it. It's worth it every time. It's worth it every time. So no top tool. The top tool is go to an evidence-based therapist that provides evidence-based therapies. It doesn't have to be CBT. There are others. You have Mantra, you have SSM, you have FBT for the younger population. So there are several. Thankfully, we have options, we have choices. We don't have many therapists in the region who provide them, but we have more and more. Make sure, ask your therapist, what do you do? Okay, I do not want eclectic generalized talk therapy. I want specialized therapy. And make sure to do it all and to do it well. Trust your team, trust your therapist, take the plunge, give it your very best, and you'll see you cannot regret it.
Oh, amazing.
What a great answer. Oh, Carine, you're incredible. We just love you.
No, thank you.
You're amazing, honestly.
Thank you for hosting me all the time. And again, thank you for the incredible work you do. And thank you for, these are, I believe, important messages, and we need to get them out there. And this is why we have founded a new association called AIDA, the Arab Eating Disorders Association. Maybe the footnote of you can link it. And this association is basically has been founded by, I guess, most of the eating disorder people now in the region that came together wanting to really work on raising awareness and getting these messages out there. And we have a very nice Instagram page. We have a very resourceful website where there is a directory of help of people who are trained in evidence-based therapies and can provide support. Lots of information on different eating disorders, and also you can contact us and we can guide you if need be. And we are growing. We're still young, but we are growing. So follow us, help us. If you want to volunteer, let us know. And we always need more people, more voices. There is so much to do. There is so much to do. Thankfully, I think the field in the region has advanced, and I'm very grateful and that I have been part of it, and I'm very proud to have been part of it. In 22 years, the landscape has improved drastically, but there is still a lot to do. So we need all the help we can get.
Incredible. Thank you. Thank you for all the work
Thank
you
do.
do.
Thank you for your time. Thank you for your voices, and looking forward to more.
Yeah,
thank you. Thank you so much, Carine.